We are not live, ladies and gentlemen.
No, we're definitely not live, but we are recording our voices so that we can air them later.
Yes, so welcome back to another episode of the Mercenary Musician Podcast. I am Chad,
And I'm Peter.
and today we're going to talk to you about how to book your first gig. It just dawned on us, we're 33 episodes in, and we haven't done one specifically catering to booking your first gig.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this, and I was talking to somebody who's kind of new to the whole thing here, the bar gig, the full time cover musician thing. And it seems that a very common pain point is I don't know how to get gigs. And I totally understand that. I know the feeling, although it has been 7 or 8 years since I started doing this. I know that feeling. And so we're going to talk a little bit about some concrete steps that you can take to get the ball rolling on that. I mean, I'm not going to guarantee you that you'll get a gig if you do this stuff, but if you do this stuff long enough and with the right attitude and in the right market, you will, well, and you're good enough to do the job, you will find a gig. Honestly, that last part, and you're good enough to do the job, is not even necessary. What that that's really more necessary for keeping gigs. You can usually get, I mean, you see people play out all the time who are just like, how did this guy get on stage? And sometimes they even come back. Uh, there's an answer to that, which we've addressed in a different episode, but the short answer is it could be any number of things that is the reason the guy keeps coming back. Could be a friend of the owner, could be undercharging or playing for free, which I really discourage you from doing. Could be because he's got a great personality and he's wonderful with the crowd, and you're just hearing him play poorly. Could be any of those things. Could be drunk. Could be having an off day. Anyway, that was what are we calling tangents now?
Lateral thinking.
Lateral thinking moment. Yes. Okay, so I've got some tips here. The very first thing you need to think about when you're about to book your first gig is, are you ready? That's an important question. There, as usual, there are two sides of this, right? There's are you ready? It's just a question, right? There's being too hard on yourself and telling yourself you're not ready when you probably are. And then there's the other side, which is you suck really bad and you somehow think you're ready, despite that. And really, I would like for you to err on the other side, on the side of you suck really bad, but you're confident that it'll go okay, because that will put you in the room, right? So I want you to, even if you think right now, no, I don't think I'm ready, I want you to think hard about what would make you ready. What is it that you think you're missing that would make you ready to do this? Okay, so I want you to kind of have an action bias here to some extent. It's the kind of doing things and then learning as you go. I have the exact opposite tendency. I don't have the action bias. I'm jealous of people who do. I have the analyze, study, prepare bias, and I will just like prepare and prepare and learn and learn and learn and never put anything into action. And things don't happen, right? Things can't happen if you don't take action. So I want you to lean on the side of action bias and say, maybe I am ready. Or if you're sure you're not ready, list some things out, get out a piece of paper and a pen, and write down 5 things that you think you need that you don't have that will make you ready to perform for money.
That's good.
Yeah. It's a good exercise. You may not be able to come up with 5. And you might find that when you're writing through your list, it's just attitude stuff where you're just like, I need to be less afraid. And well, is that ever going to happen on your couch? No, the only way to deal with that is to go do it and go take action. So, first things first, you should be ready. And if you're not ready, that's, one of the first things you should do is figure out why and then get down to the bottom of that. All right, step 2 here. I would like for you to be confident that you're ready. I don't want you to think you might be ready. Although on some level that's always going to be there in the beginning for most people. I would like for you to say I am ready for this. And one more thing, man, I said I was going to go into step 2 and I'm sticking with prepare yourself for playing gigs. Something that helps me feel ready is knowing that the stakes are not that high. What is the worst that's going to happen here? I'm going to train wreck a gig. I'm going to get made fun of. I'm going to sound terrible. I'm not going to make tips. I'm not going to get to play back here again. That's the worst that's going to happen. It's not death. It's not dismemberment. It's not hurting someone you love. It's just that's the absolute worst that will happen here within reasonable parameters, right? So knowing that, okay, am I ready? Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to possibly cause a train wreck if that happens, right? Be ready for that. And that's all you need to be ready for. You don't have to be ready for a fight to the death. You don't have to be ready for, whatever, anything, any name a stressful thing. You don't have to be ready to jump out of a plane. You just need to be ready to, if it comes to it, be embarrassed and unplug and go home. That's it. Now we'll move on to step 2.
So wait, does it make sense then to book your first gig somewhere outside of like your
That's an interesting point.
5 miles where you live or frequent?
That's a good question. Wow, I hadn't actually thought of that, but that's not a bad idea. So in our area, we're in Fort Myers, Florida, Fort Myers, Naples, Cape Coral, this whole Southwest Florida area. There are so many venues, so many places to play that really, I don't want to say you should feel comfortable burning bridges, but there's so many places to play that even if you cause it, like there are bars that I played in the beginning that they're just below where my level is now. And so I kind of, I get my feeling is that the bars you're going to start off, the bars who are going to really hire like people who are, it's their first gig, they're going to probably be paying you near the floor of the area's rate, right? It's going to be like $150 for 3 hours type of thing. Or $125 for 3 hours. So like that kind of level, at least in our market. I know this varies regionally, but we're just, add or subtract whatever amounts you think are appropriate for your area. The floor kind of rate for a cover musician is like $125 for 3 hours, but like $50 an hour, maybe a little less. So the places that are paying that for the most part are going to be gigs that you're not going to want to play at in 3 years. You're going to hopefully be good enough and experienced enough and professional enough that you don't want to play at the floor rate anymore. And those places are still going to be paying the floor rate.
Right.
There's a place in Cape Coral. I'm not going to name names, but it's a bar that I used to play that would not budge on rates. And it was like the floor. It was like slightly below the floor rate. And I only took the gig because I was like, this fits my. This was when I was saying yes to everything that fit my schedule. I took the gigs because they were like Wednesday afternoons, and I was like, oh great, yeah, I'll take them. Don't do that. Do that. Honestly, do that in the beginning. Push yourself a little bit and take all the gigs you can in the beginning, but make sure you grow out of it faster than I did. Anyway, so this place wouldn't budge on floor rates, and I stopped playing there when I started respecting my value a little more, and they still pay the same fucking rate. It's the same fucking rate, and I don't want to play there. You could torch a show at a place like that. Don't hurt your reputation in a big way. Don't like cause don't be drunk at work. Don't like fuck things up for anybody's business. But you can experiment on these places a little bit. Honestly, the stakes are not that high. Unless you're in a tiny little town and there's 3 venues and you need to make sure you're playing at all of them.
That's an interesting point. Maybe that's how you approach this is you also are evaluating the venue, right? So it kind of takes some of the stress off of you because you're also seeing if it's the right fit for you too moving forward.
That's another good way to think about that. That's
right?
very insightful,
Shifting
Chad.
the mentality can definitely help kind of relieve some of that stress, some of those butterflies, so to speak.
Yeah, it is a partnership. You're working together. And I remember the first time I really realized like, oh, this venue like needs me more than I need them. You'll have a gig where, and country clubs aren't like that, obviously, but some bars are very much like that, where they're like, oh, you're like the reason people come here on this on this time. Like you pack the place out, and I want to back up a little bit. The following thing, right? This is not how you book your gigs, but a following will build if you play at a place long enough and you fit well.
Right.
So followings build, right? You don't bring them around to
What's
new
your
bars.
draw?
Yeah. What's your draw is a red flag question for venues, but you basically, you'll get to a point at some point in your career if you do this the way I did, where you'll kind of realize like, oh, we can't lose you, and they'll give you raises when you ask, and they'll give you food, and they'll treat you really well because they value their relationship with you. Mm-hmm. It's not like, oh fuck, yeah, we pay this fucking guy to be
No,
here, so
now
you
you've become an intricate part of their operation.
That's right. Yes. So yeah, so you are on some level you're evaluating these venues too. Less so in the beginning because I don't want to use the word desperate, but you're hungrier for gigs, right? It's pretty important.
You got to make your bones.
You got to make your bones, and it's pretty important not to seem desperate. I'll say that. So I would, there are a lot of different ways to approach this. It'll depend on the person you're talking to about booking, which we'll get into in a second here. But it's, yeah, it'll depend on the person you're speaking to when you're booking. But there are kind of all different kinds of approaches here. You could just be really upfront and say like, hey, I'm brand new to this. I'm pretty good, and this would be my first gig, so you'd be kind of giving me a shot. Or you could be a little more aloof and just be like, yeah, I've got Saturday evenings free, kind of thing. There are different approaches there. My approach is usually just to try to make friends with everybody. If you make friends with everybody, friends will take care of you, and that's just a good way to kind of go through life. Okay, so step 2. So you need to have a demo, right? You should have a video, and this is just so easy. When I first did this, I had to go into a studio and record a CD, and put it down, upload it to my computer, and then wait, what is it? Yeah, download it to my computer, and then email it to and you're still going to be emailing sometimes, but a lot of this is, I think the vast majority of my booking now is done through Instagram.
Okay.
I do get emails from time to time also, but having a demo of yourself, your Instagram can be your demo reel, basically. Just get in front of a camera, play a couple of songs, maybe throw a little personality in there, say, hey, I'm Peter, and this is a cover I like by this band. Play the song, put it on your Instagram, and you can use that as your demo reel, but basically you just need to have something somewhere where someone can see what you sound like and what you look like, and what you sound like and what you look like. That's it.
Yep.
So be clean shaven. Not, you can have a beard. I have a beard, but be neat, well groomed.
Unkempt.
Yeah, don't be unkempt. Shirts ironed. I'd go button up for the vast majority of it, probably,
Yeah.
or a collared shirt, depending on what you're looking for. I mean, it does depend on what you're looking for, but don't wear like a big baggy sleep shirt.
Yeah, we have a whole episode of how to market yourself, where we kind of elaborated further on how to do this and the type of marketing materials you need to bring to capture that gig, if you will.
Yeah. A few covers.
Go back.
A few covers. There's an episode about this. A few covers of you singing and playing, of what the act would sound like, and that's about it for demo stuff. That's all you need, really.
Well, I know we had talked of like a business card with maybe like a QR code that takes you right to your Instagram page. Where
That's
your
a little.
videos are.
That's a little fancier. You could do that.
Well, you just go off of Vistaprint. It's fairly inexpensive.
Yep.
They usually have promotional for first-time purchasers.
Yeah, business cards help. It just makes you look a little more professional, and I would get business cards for sure. That's it for step 2, really. You just have to have a demo. Probably the most important part here, step 3, is your social network. I know this is like, sometimes I feel like I say this and it's just like, this again, but it's just so important. It can't be overstated. Your friends, the people you work with, they're who get you gigs. I don't look for gigs anymore. They come to me, and it's because of a social network that knows about me, likes me, knows I'm professional, knows I'm good, and I get the phone calls and the text messages, and I've got a full, I'm not worried about Sunday whatsoever, about losing my Sunday gig. whatsoever. And first of all, it may come back in a couple months, and I'll just have it there. But I'm just not concerned about it because I haven't been concerned about booking in 2 years, 3 years.
That's gonna feel good.
It feels great. Yeah, it's just like my schedule fills up more than I can handle. I turn down stuff based on literally just word of mouth. So that, and it takes time. It wasn't like that always, but it takes time, and it's building a social network. It's making friends. It's talking to your friends about this stuff. It's telling them what you do. It's about showing them what you do. So this is social media is a good. Social media is a corollary to this social network idea, right? There's your in-person social network, but the social media can serve a lot of that same function. Show people what you do. It's, post on Instagram. I would say TikTok and Facebook too, but basically post on all.
You're younger.
Post on all of them.
Early 20s.
The thing about TikTok is it's not like local. It's not like localized, right? I think you can tag your hometown, but it's not like a good place to be like, hey, I've got a show coming in a week, because it doesn't work like that. It just shows everyone in the fucking world who might have aligning interests. Anyway, I'm still learning social media myself, but basically the great thing about Instagram here for this purpose is you can follow all the local country clubs if you wanted to. You could follow all the local bars. You could follow all the local live musicians, and you can chat with them.
Smart.
Right there. You just, So there's step 3. Step 4. Step 4, real quick. Visit these venues and introduce yourself. Go in person and ask who books the music, and then talk to that person. You can also research the venues online. We kind of just talked about that. See where the live music is happening. And that's it.
Take action.
That's it. Yeah. Do some research on the venues. Develop your social network. Get a demo. Make sure you're ready in reverse order.
And then let us know how it went.
Yeah. Let me repeat those in the actual order. All right. Make sure you're ready and err on the side of I am ready.
Step 1.
Step 1. Step 2. Put a demo together. You can do this on Instagram. You can just take a video on your phone, or videos on your phone, more likely. Step 3. Develop a social network. Tell your friends what you're trying to do and see if they will help you. And make friends with people who work in the places you want to work. Step 4?
Correct.
Visit the venues and introduce yourself to the person who books music, or the manager, or whoever. If not, if this is a key here, if you can't get in touch with the manager or the person who books music, still be nice. Make friends with whoever you're talking to, because they're going to tell whatever message they give. It's like, they'll be much more likely to paint you in a positive light if they liked you.
Yep.
And you can research these venues online. Instagram is a great place to do this. Hashtag Fort Myers live music, stuff like that type of thing. Priceless.
Yep.
And that's it.
All right,
Get
folks.
your first gig. Let me know how it goes.
You heard it here first. We'll see you on the next one.